avid thrifter. Some of my favorite toy photos that I've ever done were created with trash. Hear me out. I've looked at cardboard boxes and been like, wait a minute, that looks just like Tatooine from Star Wars. What can I do to create this storyline around this piece of trash? I'm going to go thrifting and see what we can find to recycle to create some cute toy photos. I might go out in my backyard and see if there's anything that I can pull off the ground. I think I might even go over to my parents and see what they have in their garage. We're going to create a photo out of essentially trash. So let's go find something for this little stormtrooper and create a piece of artwork. Let's do it. All right, I think that was pretty successful. First trip through the thrift store, we found what looked to be like a taco holder. But in my mind, I'm thinking of it as like a slide or maybe like stairs for the stormtrooper and his friends. I don't know. We'll see. And then the little trinkets. I really liked the sewing machines. So maybe I can get the stormtrooper to like sew his outfit. I don't know. We'll see what the haul looks like after I hit the next thrift store. All right, let's go. Okay, so that was a new thrift store that I have never been to. It just opened, so I wasn't really sure what to expect, but I think the few things that I did find will work for future projects. So I did end up buying them. We'll see if I end up using them for this project or a different one in the future. See what we can go find at my parents' house. They have a lot of stuff around. So I'm going to go knock on the door and see what we can find around their backyard. Next stop, let's go. What? All right, we're going to see what we can find at your house to use for Lego pictures. Oh. Hello. I'm going to steal it from my father's workbench. Well, yes, I am. That could be used for some kind of cool wall, maybe? I don't know. All right, let's see what else we can find in here. Okay, this is coming home with me. This is kind of cool. This little pipe thing. Maybe like shoot through. Oh, I literally have no idea what's happening here. Anyways, this could be kind of cool. I'm taking it. What else do we have? That's my mother. Saying things. We'll stick with those two things because I don't want to take too much. Found something else here. I don't know what this is, but it could be used for a flooring. So I'm taking this too. Looks like it's trash. There's a whole bunch more if I need more. I don't know. We'll see. I found 3 things and all the little sticks that I found outside. So we're taking these. They'll get them back. I don't know if they want them back, but I'm taking them. All right, I'm taking them. They're all yours. So I would say that was a pretty successful thrift haul, as well as finding some things on the ground at my parents' house. So let's go see what we collected and what kind of storyline we can make with the items that I found today. All right, here's the thrifting haul. I said when I found this that it looked like flooring, and I think this would look really cool. It was maybe like dance flooring or something. Not really sure if we'll use this for this project, but I think it's really cool and I will probably keep it. My little taco stand. This is my favorite so far. I think this is going to be the main focus of the background, but we'll see. Some little sticks for filler. That's what I like to use these kind of things for. We don't really know what these are, but they remind me of the playground equipment that kids swing on, so those are kind of cool. Some trash that I found around my house. These work really well for like caves and rocks and stuff like that, so I hoard these. Mater will probably be another project. I just thought he was really cute. It reminds me of a fence, so that's why I was thinking that. All of these little trinkets. I really like this sewing machine. This little thing looks like a fence to me. Maybe like a background texture or something. More filler. And then this thing can be used also as the filler background type thing. So looking at all of this, I'm really leaning towards this. And maybe I make a playground or something for the stormtroopers to mess around on. So let's see what happens in part 2. All right, it's part 2 for the toy photography thrifted journey here. I have my taco holder, I have my little stormtrooper, and I have a favorite stump in my backyard. One of my friends always jokes about how she has a favorite stream that she goes to. I have a favorite stump. So we're gonna go over there and see what we can set up with these cute little items. All right, let's do it. Here's my favorite stump. I think I'm going to do like a hide and seek kind of storyline. I think I found the angle that I want to shoot at. There's this little tree right here, a little stump right there, and I think I'm going to put him right through there. All right, I'm going to shoot with my Lens Baby Velvet 85, and I also brought out 2 different light sources, external video light, and then a bounce card. Oh, this grass might be too high for this. Oh no. I want it to look like they're playing hide and seek with this little thing, but I don't know if the grass is going to let it work. We might have to go over to the concrete. That's not bad. Okay. Okay, this is what I'm seeing. That's so cute. All right, let's see what it looks like in camera. It's in direct light, so I don't think we're going to use either one of these lights, but let's see what it looks like. Oh my god, that looks so cute. I actually really think I like that. That's adorable. I gotta do a little bit more grass picking here. There's a little bit in the way. You also have to be really patient with toy photography, because if it's not in the right angle, that could really throw off the storyline. Okay, we're gonna change up the position a little bit. Something I like to do with my stormtroopers is put some tacky stuff, and then you can put the helmets on and position them. You can tilt it forward a little bit. That looks weird, but you get the idea. So instead of just regular on the head, I can give him a little bit of personality. Maybe like he's looking up like that. Okay, I want him to look like he's like making sure he's hiding well enough from his friend. Oh, once again, patience with toy photography. They fall over a lot. Oh, that's cute. Okay, let's give this guy some personality too. Maybe like he's looking around the corner, trying to find him. I'll show you the difference of what I just shot versus the little bit of posing that I just did with the toys. That looks so cute. Oh my gosh. This is turning out better than I thought it was going to, if I'm being honest. All right, I think those came out cute. All right, next up, editing. Okay, so I've already pulled a few photos into Lightroom. The ones that didn't make it in were like blurry or just absolutely terrible. Because we all know photos, not 100% of photos will come out exactly like we want them. So this is just straight, this is the toys just straight up and down with zero posing. And then when we got a little bit more comfortable with the location and the lighting, I was able to pose them a little bit better. So I think that these are a little more interesting. I think I like probably this one. Yeah, I think I like this one with that little piece of grass over here. Adds a little bit more dimension. This is going to come out because it's just really distracting, and I think this little piece of grass might come out as well. So we're going to 5-star this one as the photo that I'm going to edit from this setup. So let's edit these and pull them into Photoshop and edit the details. Okay, so I don't really like how yellow this entire photo is. So I have some presets over here that I use quite a bit. That just made it even more yellow. This one might be one that we hand edit without the presets. So I think this might just be a little bit of an overkill. Actually, that one's not terrible to start with. Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay, so I'm going to pull this down. All right, it's a little bit too high contrast for me. So I'm gonna pull some of the contrast down just a little bit. Pull some of the highlights down. All right. So before and after. Okay. I don't know if I like the red in the shadows. Okay, so it's got a little bit of an orange kick here. So let's get rid of that red here. Well, that didn't really do anything. Okay, I'm gonna make it a little bit cooler here. Pull some of the yellow out because, like I said, I didn't really like the yellow. Maybe flatten it a little bit. I still feel like there's a lot of red happening. Okay, let's see. Cool it down with the blues. I'm looking mostly at this white right here. I don't like how there's that little bit of tint to the white, so that might be a Photoshop thing. Okay, so that's the before, that's the after. Okay, this is still a little bit too much contrast for me up here, so we're going to add a layer with the gradient. I'm going to pull down right here. Might brighten it up just a little bit, pull the contrast down. I feel like this dark spot is just drawing the eye away from the figure down here. So I'm going to add a little bit of a vignette onto our figures. So we really pull the eye down to the figure here. And just brighten it up just a little bit. And then I'm going to add a large vignette around the whole photo, just to give it a little bit of dimension. Tilt it a little bit. All right, then I'm going to invert, pull the exposure down just a tiny bit. There we go. I still feel like it's a little bit warm, but I think I might fix that in Photoshop. Okay, so that's the after. There's the before. You can just see that that vignette really helped to draw the viewer's eye into the main character here. Okay. Maybe it's the vibrance. Just doing a little bit of tweaking here. I think I like that. Maybe not. Okay, we're gonna do a little bit of color correcting in Photoshop because I know I can pinpoint that certain color that I'm looking for. Okay. Oh, some other little things that I see here, just that I do in Lightroom because it's easier. I see some dust here, and that's just because I have my sensor is really dirty on my camera. But whenever you shoot at such a high f-stop, it really shows that. So I'm going to come in here and remove the dust. And it does pretty good on its own. There's sometimes that you have to go in and tweak a little bit, but for the most part, it does pretty well. So you can really see it. Yep, there's all the spots. You could really see it over here. Let's see. Can I show the preview? Yeah. So if you look up here in the corner, you can really see the dust that it just took out. So that's a little bit of editing that I don't have to do in Photoshop. We like that. I don't like the coloring that I did. Whenever you step away from a photo and then come back and look at it and you're like, oh my God, what was I thinking? I do that all the time. So we're going to change the coloring on this because I just think it's a little too yellow. Okay, so I'm going to create a new layer. We're just going to see what the auto contrast, auto color, like that doesn't look bad. That fixed the white on the Stormtrooper's suit. So I'm going to undo it because I want to just see what the auto is for that. And this is just, I am just auto color, auto tone. The shortcuts are what I'm using right here. Okay, I don't know if I like that blue. Sometimes I'll combine them. So let's see, auto tone and auto color. Maybe pull the opacity down just to get rid of a little bit of that yellow. Yeah, that doesn't look bad. Okay, I like that better. Perfect. We are going to merge this down. Okay, first things first, we got to get rid of this. New layer. Okay, we're going to use the remove tool on this because I think it'd be easier than using a healing brush or the clone tool. So I'm going to circle it, click remove. Let's see how well this does. Okay. All right, so that worked pretty well. I didn't have to do much. Okay, so we're going to flatten that down. I'm going to come in here and remove these little spectacles. Okay. So let's shift over to the content aware tool. We're just going to color over these little things. We'll leave a couple, but the big ones, what the heck? Yeah, okay. The big ones we're getting rid of. And my favorite thing is to see the before and after because it makes me happy. So, a little before and after. Can't tell if this is a reflection. I think that is the reflection. Honestly, it is kind of distracting, so I think I'm going to remove it. Okay, so we're going to make this a little bit bigger. Let's see how well content aware works. Works pretty good. All right. Still a little bit of weird lines, so I'm going to come in and use the healing brush tool just to kind of smooth that out. Get rid of those few little things. Okay, perfect. So, before and after. Cool. All right, a few other little things. We're going to try to remove this blade of grass. I don't know how well that's going to work because of how it's laying over the figure, but we're going to try it. So once again, if it doesn't work, not the end of the world, but we're going to see how well it does. So I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to kind of highlight or use my lasso tool like that. Okay, so for this one, I will probably use the generative fill because there is so much detail in there. So I usually just leave it open. That way it can generate what it's reading on the photo. Let's see how well it does. It's not terrible. So it'll give us some options over here that we can work with. And if you don't like what it did, you can generate it again. But honestly, I don't think that one's terrible. So something you can do whenever you get the generative fill is if you overshot the lasso tool, you can come in and clean it up a little bit. So for the most part, I think it looks great. Nobody's going to notice, and if they do, then they're looking too hard. But one thing I do notice is the blunt line right here. So I am going to turn this on, and we're going to come over here to this layer. Oh, sorry. We're going to turn this on. We're going to come over here to this little layer mask, and I'm going to find a small brush. Keep the hardness all the way down because we want it to be soft. And I'm going to, since it's on black right here, I'm going to make sure this is on white. And we're going to paint this back in. Why is it not painting? There it goes. Okay. I guess that's how the shadow is on the figure. There it goes. Okay. I had it on the wrong way. Okay, so we gotta make sure that we don't get that line there. Okay. So I think that looks pretty good. Might come back in a little. Oh, might come back in a little bit more. Once again, if somebody's looking at it this close, then tell them to step back. All right. Okay. I think that that'll work. Yeah. I'm not mad with that. I think it's a little bit, it gets rid of what we don't want. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to flatten that. I like it. This little blade of grass, though, is got to come out because I think it is also very distracting. So we're going to come in here and just circle it like that. And this one I am going to just use the remove tool. I think it'll be fine. Okay, that worked pretty well. Yep, looks good. Okay, so we're going to flatten that down. All right, the next little thing that I'm going to do is we're going to crop. We've got the distractions removed. Let's actually, so here's where we started. There's the open, and here is where we are at now. I think that is looking clean and beautiful. Okay, so we're going to flatten that down. One more little thing. This little piece of grass is bothering me. It just bothers me. Okay. Let's see. Let's use that. Perfect. Okay. Little things that you notice. All right. Flatten that down. Create a new layer. Also, I'm going to save because I don't know when the last time was that we saved, and that was a lot of work. So always make sure that you save. Okay. We've got the new layer. I'm going to Command T, or sorry, Apple T. I've been working on Mac for so long. I don't know the controls. Apple T. Command T. Okay, so once again, I'm going to make this a little bit more cropped in. I'm going to use this reshape. I don't even know what this is called. The angle thing. I usually hold Command down and it allows me to do different perspectives. So I'm going to do a little bit perspective change. I think I made them a little too chunky there. There we go. Okay. I like that crop. All right, so there's a before and the after. I like it. Actually, we're going to do a little bit more crop. I don't like this white spot right here. Perfect. I say perfect, and then I come in and change just a little bit more. I always look at these little white spots right here. I don't know what it is, but it seems distracting to me. So I always try and get rid of those little white spots in the side crops. Okay. All right. This is the before and this is the after. Love it. All right, so we're going to do our vignette trick. Come in here, add the curves. And because this little guy is the focus, I'm going to make sure that he's a little bit in the dark here. So we're going to darken him up, or sorry, lighten this up a little bit, pull up the contrast, invert, use a big brush, big soft brush, and I'm going to paint over where I want the viewer's eye to go. It's subtle, but I think it helps immensely. All right, that might have been a little bit too much, so I'm going to pull the opacity down. Okay, so we're going to add another curves layer, and this time we're going to darken it down. So a little bit down, darken that down. Okay, and then we're going to use a big brush, paint over the spot we want to get rid of. Might add a little bit of light back onto this guy. Okay, so actually that dark spot up there is a little distracting. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so this is the before. Oh shoot. This is the before and the after of the little vignette trick. I'm going to save. And then the last little bit, we're going to add the texture. I mean, because whenever you're playing out in the dust is going to kick up. All right, we'll try this one. Okay. Make sure it covers the entire canvas here. Perfect. Then we're going to use, I think I actually like the screen, but we are going to come in and remove a lot of this. So I'm going to add a layer mask. Make sure I have a big soft brush on. Make sure this is on black because it's currently on white. And we are going to remove a little bit of this. Just kind of go in randomly. Just adds a little bit of atmosphere. And that, I think, is the final photo. We're going to save, and with that, I hope you guys enjoyed a look behind the curtain on the beginning, middle, and end of thrifting stuff to create with, the setup process, and the editing process. To wrap this video up, I talked to the team at Bay Photo. They wanted to send me an actual print of the photo we just created. I fully believe that people should print off their photos because it's just different being on the computer versus in a physical print, and you can display them on your walls. Like, who wouldn't want your house to be decorated with beautiful artwork? So I have the print right here. We're going to open it together and see what it looks like printed out on acrylic. So let's do that. They have nicely provided where to open this. It also says cut here. So that's great because, you know, we dig in and never know if we're going to scratch the print. So I fully appreciate the labels. I should not be cutting towards myself. I'm not going to lie, this is a little too well wrapped. I'm having issues getting into it. I'm sweating. This is a workout. There's instructions. Read. Okay. Cut along the indicated cut here label. Remove upper lid to access acrylic print. Okay. All right. We're getting in. This is very well secured in here. That is not going anywhere. Look how cute! Oh my gosh. All right, let's figure out how to get this out. Well, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. We have instructions on how to hang it and to care for it for cleaning. Here's what the back looks like. I love seeing my toy photos printed out. It's so cool to see such tiny toys on printed elements. Okay, so we definitely need to keep this because this is what you use to hang, but I'm going to set it down for now. Look how cute! Oh my god. It's perfect. You guys. Okay, so print your photos because this is perfection. Oh my gosh, I love this. Thank you so much to everybody at Bay Photo. I cannot wait to hang this up with the rest of my toy photos. Hopefully in the future, we will have a gallery to show them all. I had so much fun with this project. And if you don't follow me already, make sure to check out my Instagram page at sdphoto_bricks. I post all things toys. Thank you guys for watching the video, and I hope to see you on the next one.